Hey guys, it's Lego Nation Studio 707, and I'm bringing you the highly anticipated Lego Batman vs. Superman Dawn of Justice Ultimate Edition Showcase. Now, I made these figures to celebrate the release of the Ultimate Edition coming out on Blu-ray tonight at midnight. So, yeah, well, on Blu-ray, of course. So, yeah, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into these figures. Here, we're starting off with Superman. Now, Superman, he is definitely the simplest figure in this showcase. So, he was the first one to be finished. So, yeah, but let's talk about the changes they had to do. What I really did is I did some metallic blue. I'll get into that later, in the boots, which I'll get into that later as well. But I had to change the head because the head was smiling, and he didn't really smile in the movie. So I had to change it back to the old Man of Steel head from the 2013 sets, and I used the hairpiece from the General Zod, and I put on Superman. At first it didn't look as good to me as it did, but then after watching some videos of him in the movie, I was like, hey, that hairpiece actually really works. So it grew on me, and now you're looking at the figure right now. Now, the arms, I'll have to take off the head, and the cape is just a normal Lego cape, nothing too special. But the arms, you can see I did the little metallic blue over there, and on the other side as well. I copied it off some concept images I had, and yeah, it was really helpful because those concept images are really helpful for if you're trying to paint a Lego minifigure. And yeah, that's what I did. I painted the little blue, metallic blue, but mostly how I got this was from MGF. You might have heard of him. So I did the little blue lines, and it's accurate to his suit in the movie. And also I did the metallic blue on the chest. I don't think you could see it here, but it's there. So let me see if you can get a closer look. There it is. The metallic blue is is hand painted, and it was not as long as you might think it was, or as difficult as you might think it would be. So that was cool. And also I did the little more metallic blue continuing under the belt. Under the waist, and I did it around here, and that is accurate to the movie. So I'm really happy how that turned out. And the metallic blue is really cool, and it's really accurate, and I really love this paint, and I'm going to use it more. Like, I'm going to use it for Captain America's shield, and because it's a really helpful color. But let's go on focus. As you can see here, the arms I painted in a metallic blue as well, and I painted the little upper on his hand, and I just did the same thing on the other side. But the boots, now the boots are actually pretty simple. The boots, all I had to do was I had to paint a dark red around it, which is actually a barn red apple barrel. I painted the little red. At first I was actually going to paint it a light red, but then I looked at some more images, and I was like, huh. And I just decided to change it and make it a barn red, and then I added like the little brighter red on top because that is accurate to the movie. So yeah, but other than that, Superman is a very simple minifigure, and there's not much to talk about him left, but his suit is very definitely cool in the movie, and I just dropped his head. But it is a very cool suit, and I'm really happy to make it in 2016. So making Ben Affleck Batman was a lot harder than you may think. And it was not because of the torso, the arms, or the legs. It was because of the eyes. That's it. This is what took the showcase and me so long. Well, not the showcase so long, but what took me so long to finish these minifigures is because of him. Batman. Now, Batman, he was like one of my favorite minifigures now because I finally finished him. So when I did it, I had to paint the eyes. I didn't have to. I had to make them look. I didn't have to make them perfect, but I had to make them look good and menacing. As you can see here, they do look good and menacing, so that's really cool, and it looks a lot better in person, but it's really cool how the eyes turned out, so that's awesome. But the flaw with this is because of this. I used a normal Lego Batman head, and I painted the eyes black, and then I put the white dots over it, and then I put 2 little black dots in the middle, so causing it to have 3 layers of paint for the eyes, which causing it, if I take it out, then the minifigure, it will scrape off the eyes and I'll lose the eyes. So unfortunately, the minifigure cannot move his head, but it does look good still, and I'm satisfied with it. And also the mouth, it was from a normal Lego Batman head, or I said. So all I had to do was just paint the little dots. It's not exactly the best attempt, but it is good. And also, while we're down here, I did paint in the abs and the little bat symbol. Now the bat symbol is actually pretty easier than you might think. It's not too hard, but it's also not too complicated. So giving me, I managed to do them, and it looks pretty good. And I had to paint the lines downward, so you can see it's going from up to the top of the cape down to the utility belt. Now the utility belt, it is pretty good. It's not the best, but I like it. So yeah, but also zooming out a little bit, the legs are, or just taking off the figure, the legs are actually pretty simple. MGF's trick, sanding the legs a little bit and painting them over with this so he can move his legs without paint scraping off. It's a trick he made up. But also, I figured it out, by the way. So yeah, and the arms, meaning of the figure so far, the torso and the arms and the legs, they share. I had to mix paint multiple times to get this minifigure right, and the color on it is actually accurate, or to me it looks accurate, because on figures it's dark. On some shots it looks darker, but on some shot it looks lighter, so it's mostly grayish in the movie, but mine's is a gray too, mixed with black, and it's very dark gray, so it's not black. You can tell it's not black, so that's cool. And yeah, I think I did a good job on mixing colors and doing that. But the arms were actually very kind of, they're not the hardest thing ever, but here's what I did. I had to use the same color, obviously, to mix the paint, and I had to, I did these little arm pads, which I cut them off from somewhere, I forgot where, but it was like, I think it was like a handcuff. But so I cut some parts off, and then I glued it on here, painted it black, and it looks pretty good. And I also took this from the same material, or the same cuffs. I cutted it, and I put them with the little, I made them a little spike shape to represent a bat, of course. And I glued it on there, painted it gold, because it is gold in the movie. So yeah, and it looks pretty good. Now this minifigure, it does have some lines under the cape, but I don't think I can lift it. Yeah, I can lift it a little bit. You can see the lines. I'll zoom in. Now the lines, these are they're very simple. You just have to paint like a little downward then sideways. But yeah, and the minifigure itself is really cool, and the utility belt, it consists of just an action figure, and I just cut off to 6, so to make it like the length of the minifigure's waist. So that's what and painted it gold and add some black outlining. But other than that, that's all I did to Batman. And also I gave the cowl just a new coat of black, so it looks better. So anyway, yeah, and also the cape's I know it's not supposed to be triangle, but I did it before I knew, so yeah. But anyway, that is it for Batman. Going on with the Batmans, when I was making armored Batman, I knew he had to look good, but not nearly as good. but he was actually really fun to make. This was probably my second favorite minifigure to make after Wonder Woman, because it was super fun. And yeah, but let's start taking off this grenade launcher from the movie, from the Doomsday and Superman fight. So here's what I did. I got the long cloned sniper rifle and I cut them on both sides, and I sanded a little bit on the bottom. I got a piece, like a hinge, a clip piece, and I got like, I don't know what you call this piece, but it was like a rod piece, and I cut off the top, put it on there, and yeah, and it looks really good. And this still has to say, I went through many attempts on this to get it looked right, and this was the attempt I landed on. And it looks not entirely accurate, but it works for the minifigure. Meaning of the figure, that was all in one breath, so yeah. Meaning of the minifigure, I had to paint it in a new silver color because the Lego Batman, which is not as bad people say it is, they say this has no potential of being good. Like, I always see people use those amazing sculpts people do, and I do, while it is good, I feel like that wasn't the style for me, and plus I couldn't get it anyway, so I had to use this. Now, how could I possibly make this look like Armored Batman from the new movie? Well, the first thing I did was I painted it silver, and after that, actually I carved some with my pocket knife. I carved a little line through here and up here, I think. No, only on the bottom, so that's why it looks a little weird. You can see right there, just the little scratch marks over there from the pocket knife. I carved it out just a little bit and I outlined it in black, although it does not look as, it did not go as well, but it works. And also the helmet, I painted the mouth and the beard around it, which actually turned out better than the other one. But this figure can take off the helmet, and I just painted a little light blue for the glowing eyes. I didn't add a white effect under it because it didn't look good. So, and if I tried to outline the white with blue, it would just happen like the, you know, the normal Batman where he can't take off the helmet. So that's why I just stuck with this. But the torso is actually really fun. More people, this was inspired by somebody off Flickr, I forgot his name, but he actually painted this silver. This is what the figure is based off. So I painted it silver. I got the little, you see this little strap here? I got the sticker from the sets and I cut them off, glued them on here, painted it black, and that's how I got the strap to look. And also, I noticed on the details, I painted a black line here, and there was a dot there. And yeah, and on the sides, now the sides were actually accurate as well. You could see the outlining of the black, which was actually really cool, and it was actually really fun as well. And I painted the black there, and black there. And also, I painted the same details as you see here on the side of this armored Batman. And also, I did the same thing of the belt, except I added a little dry paint while it was still wet. I clayed it, and I put it in the middle, and then I got the two sides and put them over here. So, yeah, so let's go on to the legs, because these are actually very complicated, or more complicated than people say than it looks. So on the legs, I had to do a lot more than I actually thought I was gonna do. So one of the things I did, you know, it was like those shooter missiles, those little Lego guns that Lego likes to use now for the Lego Star Wars minifigures. I cut off the top, and then the little piece that you press down and then it fires, it was that piece. I cut the piece, top part, both I cut off too. I glued them on and I painted them silver, and it actually really works. It actually does look like knee pads, and it actually makes the figure more bulky. And meaning of bulky, on the arms, I actually used the handcuffs, I painted them silver, and so I painted them silver, and then I put them on here, and then I painted the hands silver as well, and to give this figure a little bit more a bulky feel, because Armored Batman is bulky. And also the arms, the legs, I mean, arms. So I'll lift up the arms, and they are still posable, even with all that bulkiness on top of it. So looking at the legs, these are actually pretty accurate for a Lego minifigure. Now, when I was looking at references, there is actually a line running through there, and a line running through there, and there's also a thicker line, and there's some black on top of the knee pads, and I continued it all the way around. So, and also, I forgot to use the black over there to there. I just figured out right now. So it's kind of like a live reaction, but when I did it, it was actually pretty simple to do this, because it was not as hard, because it's pretty big lines, but the bottom parts of the laces, you could call them laces, there is actually a line running through the bottom of the toes, and I had to paint them all four sides, which do continue on to the back and inside the legs. And also, when making the legs, I actually painted a little line going from there to the knee pad. So, it is actually there on the actual thing, so it is accurate. And, yeah. And the minifigure is really cool. I'm really happy about this minifigure, and I hope you are too. So, yeah. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed Armored Batman. Now, we finally have the last minifigure for the showcase, and that is Wonder Woman. Now, Wonder Woman, she was great in the movie. She was awesome, and everything about her was really well done. Gal Gadot did a great job on her, and I'm gonna be happy to see her in her own solo film and in Justice League Part 1 and 2. So, yeah, so when I had the opportunity to make her in Lego, I was super excited. Lego's minifigure was already great too, but I wanted to take it further, and that's what I feel like I really did. And it looks really great. It's one of my favorite minifigures. So yeah, let's get into the minifigure. So let's start off with the straps. Now the straps, I painted them. At first, it was the strap you see her running from her waist to her shoulders is a rubber band. I just measured it and I cut it so that it can be the same. It could run through the torso without, having trouble lifting up the arm. So it could still be posable. So yeah, so I just added crazy glue under it, put that on top of it, and painted it, and then I added the 4 little black lines under it, and the little gold dot in the middle, which is actually that's what it is on the Lego minifigures. So that's really cool as well. And also the bracelets, I'm really happy about them as well, is because they look kind of seamless, though originally it was just this part here, just that part. It didn't even have the rest of the arm here. So when I painted it and when it was finally done, it looked seamless. It looked like it was part of the printing all along, though it wasn't, which I was really happy about that as well. But under the bracelets, you could see here, I added a little gold under there. I was originally going to do the showcase, but then when I looked at it again for references while I was doing this skirt, I realized that there was gold under there. So I'm not, according to the pop at least, of Wonder Woman. So I painted a little gold down there, and I added black under it, and it looks super nice, and it gives a little bit more golden feel to the minifigure as well. So yeah, and also I painted a little gold line and a black line under it and on top of it, though it is supposed to be a little bit more detailed, I know, but I'm not that super detailed at painting, or I'm not that good yet. Yeah, but for the strap, continuing on the torso, I was thinking about using the rubber band over here as well, but it would look kind of bad, so I just painted the same color I painted this strap, and then I continue it on there. So it does look thick enough to be a part of it, so that's good. But on the legs, now I'm gonna have to give some credit. I'm giving credit to Skides, because he was the one who came up with the skirt design. He did a very great job of the skirt design, though I had to make some modifications of my own to actually make this minifigure on time. Now, one of the parts I had to do was tape it, because there's a part where it was just kind of like two parts weren't connected together, so I had to tape it, and to make it look like it's all in one piece, which it actually is right now. So what I did was I taped it and cut the shape that I needed it to be, and it looks really, and I'm really proud of how it came. And also on the back, I did a little gold. The gold down there, I added a little gold triangle, and then I painted a black thing, circular half circle over there, and then added a gold dot right there, so it looks thin enough, like the thins on the minifigure. And I did the same thing for the front, but I added two lines on the left and the right. So yeah, and the skirt is really well done as well. I'm really happy how it came out, though there is some inconsistencies over there and over here, though it's not that big of a deal, so I'm not complaining too much. But I'm really happy with the legs. The legs were actually the first thing that I painted on Wonder Woman, but unfortunately I can't pose them because I can pose them a little bit, but I painted I looked at some action figure references as well, so it's not sure if it's entirely accurate, but I did paint the gold boots around the whole thing. All four sides have the gold thing on it. And also I added the little T, but it's jutting downward on both sides. So yeah, and it looks really cool, and I'm really happy how that came out. And it continues on to the sides as well, so I'm really happy how that came out as well. But overall, this minifigure is really cool, but we're not done yet. No. We have weapons as well. Now, making Wonder Woman's weapons, we have the Wind Waker sword and the shield, Captain America Wonder Woman shield. We have them as well. Starting off with the sword. The sword, it's a little too small though. It's supposed to be a little bigger in the movie, but yeah, but not by that much, because it is a little shorter sword. Because if you look at the comics and movies, it is shorter, so yeah. So I painted the golden hilt on top of it, so if you look over there, the golden hilt, and I painted the blade gunmetal, causing it and making it look like warrior's blade instead of just a plastic gray sword. But for the first time in forever, yeah, I finally just did shield and dry brushing. And now I never done dry brushing, so what I did was I got a dry brush and I dipped it in metallic paint, just dipped it a little bit more on the plate, and then I put it on this, and it was the perfect amount to make this shield look great. Now I'm really happy with this because it looks really outstanding, and I was surprised how well it looked. So yeah, that's how it looks, and it looks super awesome on the minifigure. I'm gonna put them on her right now because this minifigure is really one of my favorite minifigures I've ever customized as a customizer. But it is a really cool minifigure, and I'm really happy with it, and she is definitely in my top 5. Maybe all the minifigures in this showcase might be in my top 5 favorite minifigures I painted, is because I put so much work into them. But anyway, that is it for Wonder Woman. There it is, my 4 minifigures I've prepared for the release of Batman vs. Superman Ultimate Edition for the Blu-ray. Now, I made these minifigures because I love the movie, the theatrical version, and because I really enjoyed the movie. So when I had the opportunity to make custom still for a special release, I knew I had to take the chance. Now, I've spent hours upon hours on these minifigures, and I have to say that I'm really happy with the end result, because I know I've worked so hard for these minifigures to get them released out in time. And I hope that you enjoyed these as much as I do. because I do it for you guys as well, because 90 subscribers, and I just want to say thank you for that as well. And yeah, but if you didn't like the movie, it's alright, but I did. But hopefully you enjoyed these minifigures you see before you. Yeah, but I'm really happy with the result, and tell me what you guys think in the comment, because I was really happy when I finally finished these minifigures, because honestly I thought I wasn't gonna finish on time, but I managed to finish. So thank you guys for sticking around this probably 20-minute video, but I just want to say thank you guys again, because you guys have always been supportive, and I love how you care about my videos. So yeah, but anyway, I'm gonna end it off here, and see you later. Bye.